There's a wonderful statue of Moses in one of the churches of Rome. It's a classical piece of art. And one of the curious things about it, though, is that Moses is pictured with horns on his head. And the reason it was carved that way is a mistranslation of that part of the book of Exodus. It said in that mistranslation that when Moses came down after his experience of God, after he had seen God in a sense face to face, he had horns on his head. Well, today we know that translation says that he came out radiant, that his face was glowing. That reading showed up a few weeks ago in one of the first readings for a weekday Mass. And it really gives us a chance to think about how we show that we have encountered God. Don't we encounter God every time we go to church? We have an experience of gathering in a holy place in the presence of the Eucharist. We listen to the Word of God, and we go forth having been nourished by the Eucharist if we have received communion. Do we go forth with our faces radiant, glowing because of this encounter? If we think about it, shouldn't we do that? Shouldn't we truly be changed and show that change in who we are? And that can be a great way of taking a message out to those whom we meet. If we look that we are filled with joy, that we are at peace, that we have encountered our God, indeed it's going to draw the attention of others. That kind of peace and radiance might be one of the greatest ways we can evangelize, that we can share the mission with others. I remember one time living up north. I was assigned there for a few years, and one of my confreres went out for Sunday Mass to one of the local parishes. And when he came back, it was a cold winter day, he said, "You know, we always talk about being God's chosen people." He said, "I think that congregation was God's frozen people." Well, it wasn't simply from the cold. It was perhaps sometimes we really lack any emotion when we gather for worship. I have to admit, sometimes I look out at congregations too, and I wonder, are we really happy to be here? Are we really filled with that joy that we should have? And maybe sometimes we as celebrants have that same problem of not showing that enthusiasm and joy for where we are and what we're celebrating. And so I think this example of Moses, who came out so radiant that we're told he had to cover his face with a veil because the people couldn't even look upon him. We should radiate that joy. As we continue our journey of faith, may we show that joy to all those we meet. May we be truly evangelizers because we are at peace and we are filled with God's radiance, and we almost glow because we want to take it out to others. This is Father Donald at St. Clement Church in Rosedale, striving along with this community to witness to the good news of Jesus.